If you look at the other two groups, the independents broke 35% coalition, 65% ALP, and the Greens broke 15% coalition, 85% to the ALP. And that is the rub, because the Greens received nearly 1.75 million votes. 1.5 million of those votes, or just over 1.5 million of those preference votes, went to the ALP. And it's those votes that actually determined the result of the election. Because if you look at across the 150 electorates that voted at the House of Representatives in 2022, only 15 of those electorates were decided by first preference votes. What do I mean by that? Well, in our voting system, we number all of the candidates 1 through to however many candidates there are on the ballot paper. So, for example, if there are 8 candidates on your ballot paper for the House of Representatives, you number the boxes 1 through 8. But if there is 50% of people that vote number 1 for one specific candidate, the outcome of the election for that electorate is determined at that point. There's no preferences. That candidate has received half of the votes. That is the end of that election. Now, that happened in 15 of the 150 electorates. So 10% of the election was decided by first preference votes. But that means that 135 seats were decided by preferences. So it's a really important part and an increasingly important dynamic in Australian politics as to how those preferences are actually allocated. So, going back to the 22 election again, so 2022, as I said, just over 1.5 million Greens votes went to the ALP. Now, if you look what that means, if you take the independent vote, those independent Freedom Party votes, and the Greens votes combined, there was 4.5 million first preference votes for those three groups. 4.5 million votes. The way that the preferences broke, however, was that 2 million of those preferences went to the coalition and 2.5 million went to the Labor Party or the ALP. And that is the election.